What's going on, guys? Ryan here with Tom Lock Persona. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Now, in today's video, I am going to be telling you about some new fragrances that I found very cheap and very sexy. Alright, the ones I'm talking about here today are Spongebob, I have Patrick, and I have Squidward. Now, first off, I'm kidding around. These are not sexy at all. In fact, these smell like something that a middle schooler would perhaps wear. But I think that is what is potentially good about these ones, because I remember a while back, a couple months, a woman asked me while I was working at Macy's if any fragrances would be suitable for children, or she asked me which fragrances would be suitable for children. And I was thinking, I was like, well, I don't think you're going to find anything specific for kids here. I mean, I think kids could wear any fragrance. I mean, perhaps not as much, but that's a topic for another video. But in terms of kid-friendly fragrances, I couldn't think of any until I found these ones. I think these ones are perfect for younger kids. So in today's video, I'm going to just be telling you a little bit about the composition and what to expect from these. Before I get into it though, guys, let me ask you, how old do you think a kid should be before they start using a fragrance? Do you think that, there's an age limit? Like, I know with makeup, some people don't want their kid using it till they hit 13. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts about kids wearing fragrance. First off, when I think of kid-friendly, something being made for kids, I think cheap, right? Because no one wants to spend like $80, $90, $100 on a kid, right? Really, let's all be honest here. So kid stuff is always going to be a little cheaper, and that's why, in good faith, I couldn't recommend any particular fragrance to somebody at Macy's for a kid, because everything there is like 80 plus, right? But all of these, the SpongeBob line that I bought on Fragrance X, and I get each one for $10. So they are super cheap, which is indicative of the quality. But I feel like these ones, it's not really about quality, because you're not going to be wearing these on dates. You're not going to be wearing these to work. These are going to be specifically for kids. I think that's the main purpose of these ones. The only other use I could think of for these would just be like, freshening up a room or something, because they do smell nice. They're very sweet, synthetic-y kind of fragrances, very youthful, kind of like, think of a Versace Eros kind of fragrance, but then kind of downgrade that by 10, because definitely these don't match up with Versace, but they are decent for what they are. So now let's get into the composition, and I'll tell you about the three I have. Let's start with SpongeBob. I do like how the cap on this one's his hat. It's kind of cute. It just pops off. Let's see here. Spraying on the card. The atomizer is, it's all right for what it is for a $10 fragrance. Nothing profound, but I've seen worse. So this one is, I get a lot of pineapple, which is kind of nice considering that, SpongeBob is supposed to live in a pineapple, right? So it's kind of nice that they match the scents with the characters here. I get a lot of sweetness, a lot of, I think, vanilla, perhaps some lavender as well, to tone it down even further. But yeah, nothing really else. It's just citrus, it's vanilla, it's sweetness. There is really nothing to it. And in terms of longevity, this stuff lasts like 10 seconds on my skin. It really is dismal in terms of performance. But it's great if you give this to your younger kid or your nephew or whatever, and for them just to get familiar with fragrances. Maybe they'll just spray this one around or put it on their clothes, just to feel, just to imitate their dad or whatever. But yeah, so that's SpongeBob, the first one. Next up, let's talk about Patrick. Now, this one, in terms of performance, is a little bit better. It lasts for about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. It is still pretty cheap. I mean, obviously, really, what can you expect from a fragrance like this? Well, as you just saw, the cap is actually Patrick's head, which is a little more disturbing, but is what it is, I guess. So the scent is nice-ish. It's very bubblegummy. I get a lot of strawberries, probably pink berries. It actually smells like a gum I used to have when I was younger. This red almost candy gum. I forget what brand it was or anything, but it definitely reminds me of that. It's very sweet, very synthetic. Really, there's nothing to this one, nothing interesting. It's just a very, very sweet fragrance. My brother actually said out of the three, he preferred this one. He didn't really tell me why. It's not my favorite, but if you like, or your kid likes really sweet smelling fragrances or just scents, this one might be the one to go with. Oh, let me put back on his head for a final display of it. Yeah, Patrick. Last is actually, in my opinion, the most adult-like fragrance out of these three. It is not super sweet. It's more of an herbal fragrance. It's Squidward, which is funny because in the show he is the most adult-like character. So it's funny that they made this fragrance the most adult-like one. Again, you really have to behead him to get into the juice. But let's try this one out. So yeah, it's definitely more pleasant. Like it is synthetic, but it isn't overly synthetic. I feel like the other two. There is a little bit of sweetness, so like a vanilla, but I get more of a lavender, more of an herbal quality to this than the other two. It's very fresh, very clean. I actually could see myself pulling this one off, or at least keeping this one just to throw on around the house or whatever, because it isn't, as bad as the other two. In terms of longevity, I get about 2 hours out of it, so it is the longest lasting as well, probably because it isn't like overly synthetic or anything, but it definitely, like, I don't think most kids would enjoy this one just because it's not like really sweet. It's not really kid friendly, I guess, for that reason, because it's more of a fresh and clean fragrance. But some kids, they probably like that. So if your kid is into that kind of fragrance or that kind of scent, maybe Squidward would be enjoyable for them. Bottom line is, though, guys, I definitely wouldn't recommend these to you unless, one, you have a kid in your life and you think they would enjoy it, or two, you're just interested in trying weird fragrances. I know with me, like, I'm always on the lookout for more unique, unheard of fragrances, ones that I'm not necessarily going to put into my daily rotation, but ones that, invoke curiosity, like the Spongebob ones. But wow, seriously, 9 minutes talking about Spongebob. If you are still watching at this point, you are the real deal. You are a true fan. Let me know in the comments down below who you are, just so I know to kind of keep an eye out on you. But man, I definitely wasn't intending this one to be this long. I really didn't have much to say about it. But if you're here at this point, I really appreciate you, and I look forward to getting to know you even better. Alright guys, just to wrap this thing up, let's get right into the outro. When you look and smell your best, you feel your best. And that's what